morning. Good morning, my dear friends. It happened. We are in the first garden as part of the Wow Garden 2025 project. We've arrived in the Lublin region. It was quite a journey, but it was really worth it because we're in a garden full of treasures, music. Garden treasures. Listen, there's even the name of this garden at the entrance, or actually not the garden, but the YouTube channel, because the owner of this garden has her own YouTube channel, which I warmly invite you to visit right now. In a moment, we'll go and discover all the treasures of this garden. And believe me, there are really a lot of them here. But before we go, of course, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and let me know if you've already watched the previous editions of the project. Wow Garden, and are you looking forward to this edition? You can also share this, and of course we're about to go find Beata to talk with her so she can tell us the story of this garden and show us her garden treasures. Listen, I found Beata. She's in her favorite corner. Hi, welcome.
Exactly, welcome.
Listen, you have a lot of treasures here. I already said we're in the Lublin region. And in this garden you have a lot of treasures, because I already ran through and saw a bit, but you told me you have one very favorite place where you sit, and this is the place. Why is it your favorite?
Because it's the fulfillment of my dreams. I really dreamed of having a terrace exactly like this, made of wood. And I wouldn't be myself if, of course, these weren't reclaimed boards. Nothing goes to waste with me.
We'll see in a moment.
So, yes, we'll go through, of course. Nothing goes to waste here in my garden or anywhere else. So the wooden terrace was a dream come true for me. And from time to time, I managed to get here with coffee or tea and sit for a little while.
That's an important phrase, from time to time. So I'm curious how often that actually is. But what's important is that from here you can see a large part of the garden. Yes, that's true.
Yes, this is my little viewpoint. Of course, when I sit down with my coffee or tea, I immediately start thinking, maybe I should move something, or maybe something is missing. So sitting in the garden isn't really that good, because I get so many ideas.
That's how it is with us garden freaks. All right, before we go a bit further, I'd like you to briefly tell the story of this place. Where did the idea come from? Or maybe it wasn't even your idea, maybe you inherited it from someone. How long have you been building this garden? I say building because there are a lot of things here that had to be constructed. So those first two questions, how long and where did the idea come from? Is this love for plants something that's been passed down for generations?
The love for plants probably comes from my ancestors, but the garden itself was created 13 years ago. When I got tired of mowing by the drainage ditch, because here our plots are on quite marshy land, so a drainage ditch runs through the garden.
Let me interrupt you. A drainage ditch. When you see this ditch, I'd want to have one like that too, because it looks amazing.
So I absolutely didn't want to get rid of that ditch. I really like having water in the garden, and I decided to do something about it, so I planted along the banks.
Their planting formed the garden's main axis, correct? Right.
And that was the first point of my, as I call it, gardening, so that's where it all started. Further and further, more and more desires.
More changes. And tell me, just between us, when was the last change in your garden? I mean, was it today or yesterday, for example?
About 3 weeks ago, when I was already fed up with the little area that the moles had really messed up for us, so we'll go there too. I'll show you the relaxation spot. And here I needed my husband because it was harder work. We had to redo the whole area from scratch. We had to take it apart and lay it down again. So even though it's been 12 years, there's always something happening here.
That's how it is in every garden, right? You already know this place. There's this great mirror here. Listen, I've told you many times that if you want to make a space look bigger or add some depth, it's worth using mirrors. But this isn't the only mirror, because you have a mirror that's 4 times bigger than this one.
That's right, yeah.
So we'll show you that mirror and we're going to check out the rest of the garden.
Come on in.
A garden full of treasures, so we have to look for those treasures in this garden. Maybe let's start with the fact that you have a lot of different decorative forms in the garden. What is this? Where did it come from and why? That's how it is.
It appeared garden treasures, so even the passage itself, the name refers to those treasures.
Most often, yes, made of metal.
These are treasures made of metal, where they're covered with rust, different kinds.
Forms.
Yes, and I really like it. A local craftsman is making this right now, making these beautiful garden and terrace accessories. We'll walk through it, you'll see for yourselves, and...
Attention! I'm giving you the link to this craftsman's Facebook profile here in the description of this video, but also, just so you know, because we've agreed here that you yourself don't even know how many of these molds you have. So...
Exactly.
There's a request for you. After you watch the video carefully and watch it a second time, count how many different metalwork molds appear in this episode. So here we have a lantern shaped like an echinacea, because there's a lantern on top, right? And that's one mold, but in a moment there will be more and more. And here's another one. Let us know in the comments how many molds you counted.
I'm really curious myself.
You have to count.
Exactly.
You have different forms, each serving a different function, because here it is.
A lantern somewhere?
Further on, you probably have it as a base for a bird bath, right?
Bird baths, lanterns, or just supports or decorations that are stuck into the flower bed and either refer to or...
hang, for example, on an old barn.
So you have to keep your eyes wide open here and count.
There are many. Let's continue on. You have a lot of different flower beds. For now, we're at this one by the house, which seems to me to be a more organized bed, even though there are grasses and alliums here. But above all, what really catches the eye are these topiary forms, these trimmed shapes made from boxwood.
From boxwood, yes.
So now tell me, is boxwood in any way special to you? Is it different due to the box tree moth?
Exactly. With boxwood, for me, 12 years ago, there was absolutely no talk about the box tree moth or any diseases. So I decided on boxwood. I have quite a lot of boxwood in my garden. I always say it's the skeleton of the garden. In this part near the house, I don't have the moth, but there is fungal dieback of the shoots, and it really complicates things.
Because it's not that simple to treat. I'd rather deal with the boxwood moth.
I struggled with this fungal disease for 3 years, you know. I just couldn't deal with it, so I gave up. But when we move to the other part of the garden, you'll see there's already been a change. However, in the flower beds near the house, the boxwood still looks nice. And I hope it stays that way.
But I see it's freshly trimmed, right?
Yes, I have these scissors. Manual ones, so it's done by hand. Work. Slowly, slowly I do it.
I have a bit of a solution for this, because from our main partner from the company, NAK, I brought you a gift. Because remember, we always bring some gifts, so I'm going to get them. Specialized hedge shears, and we'll show them to you in a moment. A boxwood hedge can also serve as a little table, as you can see, when it's well trimmed. But let's get back to this tool. The company NAK is giving it to you as a gift for your gardening efforts, to help you a bit with your work. Cordless hedge shears. Let's see what they look like here packed. They have a 45 centimeter blade, I think. Like this. These shears, and they're light. You'll see for yourself. They're light, and you can lower them with a battery. See if they're light. They're light, you can handle it, right?
They're light, really.
Listen, they're light, look.
There's going to be a cut now. We need to add something.
We should add something, I think.
Nice and light. I'm left-handed.
Yeah. Oh, so you see, even though I'm right-handed, so I've never tried it the other way, but this way too.
Nice, very light.
I can handle it. The main thing is they have a rechargeable battery, When we come the second time, you'll tell us how they're working, because by then some things will have been cut a second time. I will.
I still have plants to prune, so the gift was perfect.
I'm glad too. I hope they'll be useful, and we'll find out during our next visit here. We left the more shaded area and stepped into full sunlight. Here in front of the house you have this flower bed. How do you call it?
A puzzle-shaped flower bed, a rose bed.
A puzzle-shaped rose bed. When I saw it, it immediately reminded me of a typical country garden with a front yard full of colorful flowers. You call it a rose bed, but why was it made?
Me and roses, No, I wasn't really into roses for quite a few years, but 3 years ago, when I visited a friend, right when all those plants were in full bloom, and when I saw those flowers and smelled their scent, well, what can I say? I fell in love, I came back home, and I stayed up until 1 in the morning making a purchase. No, I bought it immediately. That's just how I am. Things happen fast with me. No.
There's no room, but the purchase
Is done. Yes, something else used to grow here. I dug it up and moved it. Here we also have, of course, a rural puzzle, so there's that, yes, the form. I also dug here. Listen, it's not like my husband does all the hard work. I do it too. So here I dug everything under the paving stones so that when he comes back from work, so that it would go faster. Yes, so we could get it done quicker because the roses already...
They were waiting, already on their way. Okay, but besides the roses, you also have these here. Typically late spring blooming flowers, because Orlaya, I love Orlaya, exactly.
It's beautiful.
Orlaya are here, and mulleins are already blooming, well, kind of early, I think.
Well, it's June, so...
Not mulleins, it's napastnitsa, sorry. I was thinking of mulleins, but it's napastnitsa. But there's also Dame's Rocket, which is taller than you.
Yeah, it just grew like that.
I was just coming out here from behind the house and I said, no way, Dame's Rocket is that big. It's huge. So those are the ones that are already blooming. And what else isn't blooming here yet?
Well, at this particular moment, I'm really looking forward to the roses. The
roses, because they're not blooming for...
The roses, the knotweeds.
Is that a Rudbeckia, the comb flower? I think I see it.
Yes, yes. The salvias have started too. I have a few alliums. The geraniums are starting, although not all of them. So this is the place in my garden where there are the most perennials. Because the whole garden seems pretty organized to me, except for this one area where there's always a perennial mishmash.
So the kind I like the most, because I really like perennial gardens, since they're alive all the time. Yes.
They keep changing.
But it's worth noting that besides those perennials, there are some permanent features here, because you also have Conica spruces, some larches, those pendula varieties, so there's something...
Some of the old plantings have remained.
Ahead is an arch with clematis. They're not blooming yet, but you can imagine.
They're not blooming yet, but every year they always put on a show.
If you want to see it, we invite you to your channel. What's the name of the channel?
Garden Treasures Beata Wachs.
But there's still...
Instagram. Beata.
Wake up normally. You'll see more shots from the later stages when we're not here, since we'll only arrive in mid-August and they'll already be finished by then.
Different. Yes, it will be something else. I warmly invite you.
So now let's go see that famous trench.
Drainage trench? Sam.
I'd like a drainage trench like that. See for yourself how it looks. You said you like old things. I do. Is this the oldest, well, not thing, but like structure in your garden?
The oldest, over 100 years old, was built by Germans. Dad brought it here. That's the whole story. Dad brought it piece by piece on a trailer with a tractor and...
He put it together and...
This was created.
What?
Here, such a little barn. Little barn.
It's beautiful because those old planks with some plants growing here and there, The garlic's already been picked and placed in the old milk can.
Yes, it must be this way. An open-air museum is needed here.
Yes, but this is an open-air museum that looks good because I've seen different ones and they don't always look this nice. But here, let's say we're coming in from an old, slightly dark frame. Explosion of color. Come in, explosion of color. This barn is also the background for beautiful plants and for what's happening here. Is this the pie?
Yes, this is the relaxation pie that was removed and laid out again. It was fun, like solving a puzzle.
No, really.
Photos were taken, it was removed and placed as it was here. There were 2 moments of, how does this work?
It doesn't fit.
Yes, so that's the story with him. I found the plants, maybe even about that blue window. This here is actually quite a story too. I found some paint in my dad's garage and I thought maybe I could just paint this window myself. As usual, once I have an idea, I act on it immediately. That's how the blue window happened. But then I walked away from the building and thought, what have I done? And then I started working a bit with plants here to cover this wall so that the blue window wouldn't bother me so much. And at the beginning,
Blue windows were once very popular and stylish in that kind of old construction.
I used to have a nose.
because here I just went like that, and like I said, at first it didn't bother me, and then somehow I just got used to it.
It doesn't bother me at all, especially with those peonies, Orlea, clematis and lots of other different plants.
There's actually an explosion of colors, and you just mentioned the peony. It's also a peony with a story from my grandmother's garden. No.
You can see the size and the variety, that it's not one of those new types of peonies, but it's probably at least 10 years old.
Yes, it is. But it's such a shame that peonies fade so quickly. Well,
When it's warm, they fade.
A lot, but columbines, they're kind of my little love. I got a few from my friends. I like them. I collected seeds, but wasn't successful.
It's best when they sow themselves.
Exactly. So the next year I was looking for where it might have sown itself. There was one, so I just took those dried seeds and simply scattered them around.
it didn't anymore.
You can't get rid of it, just like Verbena patagonica.
Verbena.
I don't see it yet, but it's definitely there.
It is, it is.
If we visit often in August, it'll be blooming. I wanted to show you some other different plants here, so in a moment we'll walk around the garden and show some plants, but of course not all of them, because we'll show more next time, since there are a lot here. And back there, there is a drainage ditch, which we're heading to, so let's go to that ditch now.
Hi.
Top off. Drainage ditch cuts your plot almost in half. How did you manage to make it an attraction in itself? Did you plant various types of plants there?
Yes, it wasn't an easy task. There were already some wild plants like that.
Irises, Siberian irises, marsh marigolds.
Were there?
There was this water plantain, so I left some of the plants because I want to keep a natural vibe here.
Well,
But I see goat's beard there, right?
forest goat's beard. Yes, there's forest goat's beard. There are hostas, there are rogersias, there are lungworts. Behind us,
Longwort, yes, because it prefers that.
Yes, geraniums, so here you could really...
list a lot of these plants.
I try to choose plants that will cover the ground a bit, so even this lungwort is nice. It fulfills that role. Geraniums, hostas also do it very nicely.
We'll cover it. Cattail.
Is the water cattail also somewhere further over there?
Further, but not here in this garden area.
Not in this garden area, because over there it's still more of a forest part.
Further on, right? That's already wild.
There are ducks there are deer, moose, squirrels, so yes, because...
Bata has a field of American blueberries right here.
That's right, a plantation.
A proper plantation like that, and you can meet a moose there, right?
You can, despite the fence, but for moose,
You'll just walk through.
It'll get through.
In this part of the ditch, I see you also have some elements that brighten things up. There's goat's beard here and over there too. I see hydrangeas. They're not blooming yet.
They're not blooming yet, but when they do, those white flowers are really visible. And then as they start to droop.
A little bit.
No, here I have black soil. This is, I would say, the shoreline, where it's quite moist, so they're really doing well. They have stiff stems and the flowers are clearly visible.
Here, Wigala, it's blooming right now. Beautiful, beautiful, with a great color.
Beautiful, but you had to talk to her. I remember when I planted her, 3 years, she didn't grow. She was just barely surviving. And when I came with a spade to my Wigala, just look at her now. I talked to her and she's doing better. You really have to talk to plants. It reminds
me of the winners. From the previous Wow Garden project, Agnieszka from Garden on the Slope says her plants are always ready to move, never knowing when she'll come with a shovel to transplant them. So here's another example that when you talk to your plants, sometimes you need to transplant them to find them a better spot.
You have to. My mom always tells me when I'm digging around here to at least let the plants put down roots. Some plants can stay in one spot for 12 or 13 years, while others are almost always ready to move.
Do you have to fight snails because you have such a wet area here?
I was thinking about getting runner ducks, but because... Yes, the plot is. So are there? Yes, there are, unfortunately. You can tell by the leaves. But since our plot is fenced, although these ditches are a bit of a problem when it comes to fencing, I don't think the ducks are really here. They would have left, exactly. So what survives, what remains is simply...
natural selection. You have so many plants here and such a large area that I think you can give some of this food to the snails.
There are lots of snails here, but also many plants.
That's right. So let's go to a spot that I get a lot of questions on Instagram. Hubert suggests something for a shady garden. So here will be a certain range of plants. We're heading to the shady garden.
Come on in. Oh, you go there, I'll go here. And
well, but it's kind of... as befits such a large rural garden, because we are in the countryside, there are plenty of insects, small and large animals, and also cats.
There have to be cats. How many?
There are. I really like them.
3.
So if there are cats, there has to be catnip. Exactly. You probably know catnip in the form of... we'll show you over there soon. But this garden also has another kind of catnip.
Yes, it's Cuban catnip. I'll get it from a friend. Completely.
A different form.
Yes, totally different. I was surprised when she said it's catnip. She asked if I wanted it and I said yes, since I don't have one. And that's the story with her. Catnips have this quality that they're not afraid of dry soil. And even though we have a drainage ditch there, it's still very dry here because it absorbs everything. Yes, there are big trees, so that's just the way it is. Summers, so there's not much water, but catnip does really well.
In this form, catnip is completely different from the classic ones, those classic nepetas that we all know. And you can use it as a background in the flower bed as a taller intermediate layer, not on the very edge where most catnips usually are. Here,
we have this
middle part. Look, they're at the same height as the soli, so they intertwine nicely here.
You could also say here that it doesn't spread out like pes, which is troublesome, but it's rather clumpy. So it also multiplies very nicely. And
another butterfly this time. I hope you're watching and already counting how many there are. I've already lost count. Oh, well, but I'm sure you'll help. We're in this part. It's so quiet, peaceful, just mysterious here in this shaded area. On the other side of your barn, let's say. Here's this beautiful mirror. Here on one side is this ditch with green duckweed and lots of plants, which I feel like here they have a great place. I'm even speaking more quietly because we are not so...
This mystery.
There's such a mystery here that you don't even want to speak loudly. But here, beautiful big leaves. Rotgussie, right?
Yes, Rotgussie chestnut-leaved. We got lucky this time because it's blooming. There aren't many flowers though, just one. but the leaves are huge.
The leaves do all the work here.
Yes, it's a plant that needs a lot of space. Well, here in this spot, it's about 5 years old. So I trimmed it a little because otherwise it would be a bit bigger. It's a plant that likes moisture, and as for sunlight, it should only get sun rays for a short period of time.
A lot of different hostas, because multicolored ones, bluish ones, and more miniature ones. I see Brunera in different varieties too, because there was a different one over there, and here is the lighter one. Asarum grows naturally in the forest, right? Yes, and there's also goat's beard. I still see some, I have.
Astilbes and Ligularia. Lungwat. Hakunikloa, which I adore. She
Is doing great here.
Yes, Elgold. This is a great variety, especially for those shady corners, because it can't handle the sun.
You even have a miniature variety of this goat's beard, yes.
Here are the hostas with twisted leaves. That's great.
Right, it's a slightly different variety, and we also have some Husharas. And just a bit to add color, Solomon seal, the one with the...
Variegation, yes.
This is variegated Solomon seal. The snails haven't reached it yet, so it looks beautiful. It had little flowers underneath, but right now they've already faded.
But nature is beautiful. Here is green with white. Finishing, there's this silvery grey. It's beautiful, really great. I see hydrangeas too. So you have some hydrangeas.
Yes, I have some hydrangeas. This hydrangea is a little bit planted in a shady spot, which isn't really the best condition for it, because
Hydrangeas, actually panicle hydrangeas, they like one flower. Yes.
there are a few flowers here. I like it here because even 2 or 3 flowers brighten things up, so yes.
And more elements, yes.
Yes, more elements. With this,
Time attached to the wall. In the summer in August. I suspect that at the end of August we will come here once again, and if you have any questions for me or for this lovely owner of this even more charming garden, write them in the comments and we will answer them. And of course follow us and write how many of these metal decorative elements you saw, because there are a lot of different ones here, but how many metal ones did you see in this episode? I don't know how many there will be, but I will try to count them.